Mm, yeah, request real quick, and I'll. Yeah. If you request it, I'll allow. Yeah, he's. Yeah, yeah. Did you request it? Yeah, yeah. It doesn't say that. It doesn't say that there's anything yet. It says there's no request. What's up, Cypress? By the way, how we doing, brother? What does it say? Hold on. Man, I'm gonna join back in, Ben, and then I'll try to get you on.
Hello, hello. Can you guys hear me?
We good to go?
Very, very good. How you doing?
Yeah, what's good? What's good, baby? How we doing?
Pretty good. Actually, just waiting on some trades. For the most part, I've been. Let me share my screen. Can you guys see my screen as
Yeah, I
well?
can see it.
Perfect. Yeah. Basically, just waiting on BTC for the most part. Put some music. Just waiting on BTC and see what it decides to do. I do believe we have lost the uptrend that we were in for the good part of the May pump, like the end of May up to, well, essentially this point. So I'm just waiting. Honestly, I think we either have to go for new all-time highs in a swift move or just chop for a while, which is to me something like this. I would expect something like get stuck below trend, and then yeah, I don't know. Probably
Similar trap to last pump, 100%.
yeah.
Are you using
On
are you
ETH,
using using Super Trend right now? Is that Super Trend?
this is actually a whole suite indicator, which is the whole calculation for a moving average, which makes it more responsive. I
Right,
it's
right.
pretty much the only indicator that I use when it comes to trend following,
Yeah.
and I make decisions based on this. For example, to catch this type of reversal, uh, with the guys in order flow, we have been playing this type of setup, which is happening is working pretty well, which is essentially waiting for an oversold. This is an example of a trade that I'm interested in taking. Wait for an oversold peak on the RSI. This is the 4-hour time frame.
Yeah.
Of course, you need to have a level of interest. In this case, I like to use VWAPs. This is the previous yearly VWAP and another level of interest based on the previous quarter that
So
just
so you're
closed.
going you're going you're going retest of a VWAP or something like a POC and then peak on the RSI and trend
And if
retest.
Yeah, and if the trend starts to confirm in my favor, we just enter that and use a manual
Yeah.
stop or a hard stop below the trend, and it's working well. Honestly, I used to be the order flow guy, and now I'm like the most bare bones price action guy possible because I think the market is pretty prone to that. Is what is rewarding. So I'm trading. Basically, just that, to be honest, like keeping it
No, I,
simple.
I love that. I love that. I'm mostly price action as well as you've seen, but right now, like it's very hard for me to determine a bias right now. To be
A
completely
bias.
honest. Yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously, I want to stay with a bullish bias, but I keep thinking I feel like we might sweep the weekend lows. There was a very nice reaction on BTC from like the 4 hour imbalance that we made after those lows we had on the weekend. We retested that yesterday in that 115 area. I know like Eli longed, which really nice long. But right now for me, like some acceptance above 116, and I think we'll probably get another leg up, but we'll see how that develops over the next few days,
The
next few
thing
hours.
is, yeah, sorry. The thing is, I do believe even if we go up, we are kind of stuck because uh, I really don't believe we make new all-time highs anytime soon. That's my bias, at least. It's not something like I'm bearish per se, but I don't see the demand right here, right now, especially now as we actually enter August, which I'm not much of a seasonality guy, but August is usually not a very volatile month. And we only
No, no,
made had an
and
exception.
August historically is pretty bearish, no?
Yeah, and September is actually worse. Like
Yep.
not to be a doomer, but it's worse I think because the proper institutional flows come back to the desk,
Yep.
and there's a lot of
Every every
rebalancing.
every every finance guy comes back from their Hamptons vacation and just starts selling on us.
Exactly. Yeah, pretty much that. But yeah, I think I was talking with Pat the other day about how this summer was actually a super different when like I remember last summer was good to scalp, but it was a nightmare to try to play something on 1 hour time frame and above. This was quite different. Like most of my trades were based on the daily and 4 hour time frame, some even in the 3 day time frame,
Yeah, it's
which
weird.
was
It's weird to see
nice,
such a
honestly.
trending. It's weird to see such a trending environment in the summer. Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Hi, Tavish, how you doing?
It's
I do believe.
and for me, I feel like when it comes to alts, you really have to be focused on the alts that you're playing and just focus on the strong movers, right? The ENA, CRV, SPX for a little bit. Like we're not. The alt landscape has changed entirely. A lot of people don't talk about it, but the alt landscape has changed entirely. The mind share is spread so thin, and with the amount of pairs there are to trade now, I don't think I've said it for a while, but I don't think we'll see a traditional alt season in the way that we've seen in cycles prior, just because the sheer volume of coins that there are to trade, the jumping from narrative to narrative, I don't think we're going to get those times like we had, which sucks, obviously. But um, that's even
Yeah.
why I what's up, Woods?
Very good. Yeah, I do agree with you in that sense. Like one of the things I tend to think about a lot when it comes to market participants and the basics of what makes price move. Like let's just go to the bare bones and basics. Price is only going to move if we get an imbalance between the demand and supply, right?
Yeah,
That's as simple
yeah.
as you can think about it. And well, it isn't that there is not demand in the market because we do have a lot of participants. But if those participants are honestly just gambling on Solana coins and their phantom wallets and whatnot, well, the centralized exchange altcoins are not really going to do the same as they did in, I don't know, 2019, something like that.
Absolutely,
And
absolutely.
that's not a bad thing per se. It's just the reality of the market and why you have to be little bit more specific on how you trade, right? So, for example, something like this. It's not that you can't find a scalp or setup or something that you want to trade, but it's largely going to be a waste of time to force you to find something in stuff that really doesn't move.
Yeah,
Like,
especially non-narrative based coins. Like obviously, like a lot of these movers from the alt landscape are narrative based. ENA has been the strongest because ENA is based on ETH funding rates. ETH funding has been super positive. Of course, we're going to see ENA. So for me, it's just being able to focus in on those alts that actually have a little bit of narrative behind them. You're having to tie in both TA and a little bit of fundamental analysis as well. Where in cycles prior, it was you could pretty much long anything, and you were going to be profitable. But really got to focus in on those stronger movers. Time up your plays in sync with BTC. Because if BTC dumps, alts have been getting shattered. Alts have been getting absolutely destroyed when BTC dumps. So, um, and for me, it's based on the reaction post dump. Alt wise, those will be the coins that I focus on. Right, the strongest movers
Yeah.
off the lows. We see ENA, we see CRV, we see SPX for a little bit. I bring up SPX because it's been such a strong mover. Not lately, but if you guys are looking for coins to focus on, just pay attention to the strongest coins off the lows because the chances are those coins will continue to be strong as the market makes its next move.
Yeah, I do agree with that. For the most part, I think if you are honestly completely lost and you don't know what to do and you want to be trading something like in the near future or whatnot, um, zoom out, but not in the sense of this coping mechanism of, hey, yeah, bro, just zoom out and you're going to find something. It's not like that, but you need to zoom out to, I don't know, go to a monthly chart, go to a weekly chart, and start marking your levels of interest. Like I don't know if you noticed, but my charts, for example, they already have the levels I want to be trading at. So by the time they are reached, you don't really have to do a lot of effort. I mean, you do still have to
Right, you don't need to
mark
overthink it. You already have your system mapped out, and you're able to
a
execute.
third of the
Yep.
setup is already there. So
Yep.
yeah, that helps a lot. And I think that times if you're actually like legit bored of what the market is doing at the moment, just do that. Yeah, I think it's going to be a good use of your time. Or you can just I don't know, if you do not have a proper system to identify levels of interest, that's why we are also here. You can tag me, you can tag Bryce, anyone, and we're going to help you with that. I think in this summer was fortunately very volatile to trade. It was amazing, honestly. I did really well. I'm happy with that. But I saw less of those I'm sidelined comments, which was, again, really positive. But maybe somebody doesn't, is not experiencing the same. So let's do that. Like as an example, as an exercise today. Let's do that today. Like tag me or tag anyone that you like to follow and whatnot, and we're gonna find those levels of interest, and it's gonna make life a lot easier. Even if you just follow, I don't know, a trader from the group, if you will have an additional confluence to justify going long, going short, and whatnot. It's going to be productive. That's my main point. But yeah, that's my
Yeah,
thinking
especially
at the moment.
if you're just following trades, right? If you're here to just follow trades, I would say it's always a good idea to make sure the trade that you're following is following both your bias and your system because the chances of you entering a trade that you don't agree with and then not letting it play out and kind of mismanaging that trade becomes a lot higher, right? So it's always nice to get additional confluences from both yourself and other people, um, and it'll make it a lot easier for you to actually let trades play out.
Yeah, I agree with that. Sorry. So anything that you're particularly interested at the moment, something that you want to swing, for example? I've been
Um,
kind of hell
so,
bent
so
on trying to get a swing on ETH, and I tried
yeah.
when it was like last week. I let me let
Well,
me
I had a limit for ETH yesterday at 34. What was it? 34.30 or 35.30, and we missed my bids by like $7, which sucks. Um, ETH for me, if we get a dip down into low 3200s to even 3K even, that's really where I'd start to load up some more old swings, and a swing on ETH. I just recently started picking up some Pepe and then virtual as well. Virtual, I think virtual looks fantastic on this retest. But at the same time, I still want a little bit lower on ETH, so it's hard for me to justify pouring into a bunch of positions right now.
just
But
for the
we'll
sake
see.
of it.
We'll be able to see in the coming days. I feel like we'll be able to get a lot clearer of a bias on directionality in the coming days. So for me right now, kind of a waiting game. I feel like the majority of what I've been preaching is just making sure people are not getting chopped up after such a large move to the upside and giving back what they made in the prior weeks. Right, that's sad to see. I would say the majority of people in the group in the space made a lot of money in the past few weeks, and I would say the majority probably gave a lot back in the past few days, which I hate to see it. Hate to see it,
Yeah,
but
and it's most times out of boredom that you don't know what to do with a particular day.
oh
I don't know.
yeah,
You want to be on a trade.
yep, yeah. I mean, it's. I mean, it's addicted to your most people are addicted to the dopamine of being in a trade, and they also have the fear of missing out. And on every single dump when when we're getting a bounce, people are just aping in on perps, thinking, okay, I just caught a perfect entry. Next thing you know, you round trip it, you enter again, you take a loss, you double down and revenge trade, and that's just like I've been there before. That's why I talk about it a lot, where it's you you give back what you made just in a choppy environment because you're it's sheer boredom.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. I was thinking about like just making up my mind, right, and my bias when it comes to what to expect. Like this is an exercise that I do every single day as well. The guys in the people on the order flow channel know about is just wake up, don't even look at the group. Like there's time for that. I will be literally all day there. Just go to TradingView and decide what is going to be your particular bias for Bitcoin and ETH, and that's it. And it's super simple. It's gonna take 10 minutes. Um, for example, I like to define what is going to be the trend that I'm going to be leaning more towards in the next week and probably in the next, I don't know, 2 days, something like that. And for that, I like to check the 3-day time frame. And I say, okay, we are definitely making higher highs and higher lows. We are maintaining a bullish structure, even though the news and all the noise can at times confuse you, right? But my bias in the midterm is going to be to expect ETH to go higher. How do I invalidate this bias? Well, that's when your levels of interest and I don't know your indicator stuff that the confluence that you use comes into place. If we honestly lose 3K, something like that, I'm going to be bearish in the midterm, which means I'm not going to be actively looking for longs on ETH anytime soon. But everything like that's not the reality of the moment, so I don't necessarily have to be bearish right now. Perfect. No, I made that exercise, which took me I don't know 2 minutes, and now I go to a lower time frame. What am I going to be expecting in the next day or two? The trend for me is going. This is literally what I do. The trend for me is still going up. However, I'm starting to see a ranging formation. So I have to be careful, and I also have to be conservative when it comes to my targets. For example, if I go long, I'm not going to be necessarily aiming for the moon in the next 12 hours,
Right,
and
right,
that
because
keeps you grounded.
absolutely you've predetermined your bias to a ranging environment, and rather than saying, okay, I'm going to try to swing this in something like you would in a trending environment, you're not leaving profits on the table because you're cognizant of the fact that we're ranging, we're not trending. Um, looking at BTC on the 3 day, it I feel like we're forming similar structure to like May June, where we're ranging and we're tapping back into this like 3 day imbalance. So for me, like I'll start to get bullish again if we start closing above 116. Like if we can close some dailies above 116, I think things look really good. But for now, it's just a waiting game for me. I think it's a pretty pivotal level, just reclaiming all those range lows that we are now accepting below. I'm hoping this move up is not just a bearish retest of those lows. I'm gonna send this chart in.
Yeah, but
I'm
I mean,
hoping.
that's sorry to interrupt you.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. No, no.
I think
Hey, you never gotta apologize, brother. Never.
no, it's okay. Sometimes I think when it comes to managing your expectations, right? You have to be cognizant about the fact that we spent roughly what was it, like 2 weeks creating supply around all-time highs, and we had like some decent volume. And this is Coinbase alone, but I know there was a decent volume around here. All of this was people chopping themselves because they were looking for something. They were looking for higher. They were looking for lower. all of this is volume. Like you don't necessarily need to use a volume profile to see this, but you can. Well, you know what? This is going to act as supply. So when it comes to your targets, be cognizant of the fact that 117, 900, for example, this is just an example, is going to
Right.
be a level of potential rejection where you can take profits if you're long and make money, as opposed to round tripping and not making money and also losing your entire day. So something as blunt and simple as that is going to honestly help you achieve, in my opinion, um, the single most basic objective that you have in trading and being in the group as well, which is to make money, right? I like to be that guy, like the no bluff guy in that sense that you are here to make money, but and for that you have to take profits. So that's my uh, please guys take profit. That's
Yeah.
my initiative at the moment, so to speak.
Pat talks about it a lot. Like cheer hedge. I think like utilizing cheer hedge, and when you're starting to send screenshots to people of how much you're up, um, that is normally the time that you should start to clip out of your position. Um,
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Then the other
I
thing
think
is okay. Yeah, sorry. We
well,
covered bias, which is I think if you're going to learn something from this particular stream is uh, wake up, try to form your bias. You do not have a bias or systems yet because you're just getting started. It doesn't matter. You can ask a moderator because you literally pay for that and to be here and to get help. To help you with that, we're going to help you. We're here 24/7. Then the next thing is once you have that, honestly, I would like to talk a little about your triggers to go long or go short. For example, you have your bias and you have your levels of interest. What now? What? How do you come out? How do you transform that into an actual trade? What do you do, for example, Bryce? Let's say, for
what do
example,
I do?
you have a level of interest and we are getting close to that. What's your thought process?
For me, it's making sure I fully wait for that trigger. And we talk about it a lot, right? When you have a predefined system, it becomes a lot easier to execute because you're reaching your level. It meets the parameters for you to actually enter a position, right? I ensure that my parameters are being met, and once I get that, then it's just simply executing and not over managing a trade. I feel like I have a propensity to overmanage at times where I'll close too early or I won't let things play out, right? Because I don't want to give anything back. It's very easy to make money in the space. It's also very easy to lose money. So I think there are times where I get a little risk averse when I shouldn't, right? Like I don't let things play out as much as I should, and that's just an execution problem. But for me, it becomes, like I said, a lot easier to execute and a lot easier to position into trades when I'm setting those levels prior, right? I feel like a lot of people, especially when you're novice, you just immediately think, oh, okay, the market's down today. I'm going to pile into some longs. The market's up today. I'm going to pile into some shorts. You have to have a reasoning for actually entering into these positions, right? And that having that reasoning, like I said, will make your execution a lot easier, a lot more fluid, a lot more seamless. Um, lately, I will say a lot of my focus has been on majors. You've seen in months prior, I love to play reclaim plays on alts, but that hasn't there hasn't been a whole lot of opportunity for that, especially in the last few days. So for me, it's just focusing on key levels on majors and not overcomplicating that. Um, and yeah, sorry, I skewed on
No,
for a
really
bit, but
good. No, it was perfect because I think at times what all traders that are maybe getting started are lacking is not that they are nobody lacks motivation, right? I mean, you're here. You definitely don't lack motivation to, like, I don't know, get better and transform your life and all that. That's step one, or that's, I don't know, step zero. Like, you need to have a will to have a process and an idea about progressing in your life and financially, which is, let's just call it that, is reality. but that doesn't mean much if you cannot properly follow a system. Like people who have been successful at this is not just by sheer luck. Like at times I don't like to see the word luck used lightly, but I do get it. Why we often as traders do use that word. But there is a method to the madness, so to speak, which doesn't necessarily have to be complicated. It has to be something that you actually agree with, something that you are completely okay with and believe. Otherwise, you are not going to trust your decisions. And that, I don't know if you experience this at some point in your career, but not knowing what to do and not knowing if the decision that you just made and bet money on is something that you actually believe in is quite stressful. It doesn't feel good and it doesn't progress as well because it's just kind of waiting for hoping for the better. Like I made this decision when I put my money on, and I'm now just hoping, like use literally the word hope. I hope this works, but
Right,
honestly,
right.
hope is not going to be a strategy.
At that point, it's simply gambling, right? Like
Yeah,
we are directional bettors. That is what we are. We are directional bettors, but we there's like you said, there's a method to the madness. There's a reason that we are going long or short on a given pair at a given level, right? That's where the switch flips from being a gambler to being a trader, right? Being able to define those levels and say, okay, this is why I'm doing this, rather than just blindly entering a position and hoping for the best, like you said.
yeah, I can see that. So, with that in mind, I would like to ask now the chat if do you guys have a particular question when it comes to developing your system, something that maybe you're struggling lately, and do you would like us to review? If so, just
Yeah,
please let us
but yeah,
know.
we
That would be cool.
open up to questions.
Give me a second. I'm gonna sip some water. I'll be right back.
No water on the stream, just white monster, dude. I need an energy drink. I'm down bad. Bro, good to see you, by the way, man.
Okay, I'm back. Hi, Crow. How you doing? No water, just white monster. It makes me thirsty. White monster. I think it has like a gigantic content of sodium and other poison. That I mean, it's good though. It's good, pretty good.
Yeah,
It's
I love
tasty.
that. Yeah, it's the best. It's the best. I'm actually probably gonna walk across the street here in a second and grab one. I'm in New York right now, and when I went over to buy one yesterday, it was crazy. They had everything locked up. So
Oh, I saw
in this
that.
yeah, every I've never seen that in my life. Every single item in the store had a lock on it. Never seen that before in my life. Never seen that before in my life, but
Oh, all right. Well, we wait for some questions regarding systems. I wanted to talk to you about a few coins that I have on my watch list. As you can see, I have a few different colors, which is nothing crazy, but I do have a red list and a green list. So stuff that I'm actually bullish on, whatever time frame I'm interested in. And the good thing is, I don't know, my whole watch list must be like 400 coins. I'm not going to be scrolling 400 coins a day, but I do that every I don't know every 3 days or something like that, and make a much smaller list that I want to be working with, and those are the coins that I mark the levels on. So
I
just kind of
actually
prepare.
that is not something I thought about doing. Is making separate watch lists for the for the coins that I'm interested on the week. I don't know if it's the ADHD in me, but like, I mean, that's
You want to
you're
scroll the
very
whole
on
thing?
time. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it feels
Every
kind of
time.
good, but it's super time consuming at a
Yeah,
time. Like, so, for example, something I do like is when people, I'm in chart idea, something like that, people ask me for chart requests of coins that I am actually not interested in because I already get to mark the levels of interest and they are kind of ready for the next time when somebody asks.
yep, yep, yep.
So yeah,
I talk about this. I talk about the same on stream. Like it's nice to see what the sentiment is for a given coin, um, from a retail perspective, right? When you're having members come in and say, "Hey, I want to get long on this coin," and I'll say, "Okay, well, what makes you say that? Why is your intuition telling you to get long in this coin?" It's like, "Hey, well, I heard X, Y, and Z, or there's a bullish catalyst that I may not have known about prior." So
yeah,
it's always nice when you can mark it
yeah,
out, and yeah.
yeah, I agree with that. Then the other thing is like I'm fighting a lot these days is with not chasing stuff. I have maybe 9 trades of open at the moment, but 5 of them or something like that, like the majority are swings that I have been holding like for 40 days or so. And it's kind of boring, right? Because you're just waiting for your TPs to hit or get stop break even or get stop outright. But for example, I see something like this, like on Solana, which is a coin that I tend not to trade. Honestly, I don't like this coin all that much. I have like kind of a shaky history. I don't think it moves fast enough, or I maybe tend not like I just tend to avoid it, right? And I see a setup right now. I see a chase type of setup because I should have entered probably here when my system told me to enter. Now it's kind of late. But I do see the possibility of a pump on this. Like I have been eyeing this level for quite some time. In cases like this, I tend to say, okay, I'm going to take the trade, quote unquote, late, and I'm going to risk half of what I would usually do because I know it's kind of just the itch to trade something that is still
Right.
valid in the technical standpoint. It's not something like, oh, I want to gamble on something. And there is of course a reason, a technical reason for doing such thing, but you know yourself and I know myself, and it's something that I need to kind of control and say, okay, I'm gonna risk half just to be on a trade and scratch that itch, so to speak, and take it.
Right.
And if it doesn't work,
Right.
it's not the end of the world. It's like, okay, it was a reasonable loss. And if it works well, I cannot complain and say, oh man, I should have bet more. And doesn't work that way.
In this context, were you using this for an exercise purpose, or are you bullish on Soul at the moment? Because
Um,
I closed my Soul spot that I got filled on, but I do think Soul actually retested a very nice level, and I haven't taken a peek at Soul ETH or Soul BTC. I can't see the strength
I have a
comparatively.
thesis about Sol. One, because it is a coin that is a major coin, so it's easier kind of to call and whatnot. I do believe Sol has lost the trend on the daily time frame, which is this. Oops. I do believe we are going to eventually probably go to 180, something like that, and then make new lows. My system tells me that this was likely the summer top, and this is a bearish retest, which is
Yep.
not to say I'm going to become fully a bear, like moving forward and whatnot. But I do believe that any long opportunity is going to be capped by what we discussed earlier, which was the supply. On Sol, it was less of a range and more of a parabolic move into 200 something. And just by a market structure perspective, the trend is going down. Like at least on this time frame, we are making on the daily, we're making lower lows and lower highs, and this is going to most likely end up as a lower high as well. Which is why if I end up taking a long based on the lower time frames, like for example the 4 hour time frame on Sol, I'm not going to aim for 250. I'm going to likely aim for 180, maybe
Because
190.
your predetermined higher time frame bias is the fact that the Soul summer top may be in at the moment, and
Yes.
because of that, you're not leaving profits on the table by thinking, okay, I'm going to swing this to a new high. And if
No.
you look at it, I mean, if you look at it holistically, like why did Soul have such a parabolic run? Soul on chain was on an absolute heater, right? Soul on chain was like, Soul on chain was uh on an absolute heater. And that
Yep.
has died down. So you're able to tie in both what is going on from a macro fundamental standpoint with your TA. Those are the best trades. Those are trades you should be taking, right?
Yeah.
When you're playing in both technical analysis, fundamental analysis, looking at things holistically, saying, okay, um, yeah, Soul's probably going to slow down. We need a new narrative to change that. So
And also this the fact that I like to use synthetic pairs like Sol ETH and like you mentioned it before. Sol ETH and Sol BTC. I have them here. Sol BTC is honestly not doing much. Like whether you like it or not, it had a period of outperformance over. Yeah, it was essentially the summer, and then Sol ETH is outright going down, mostly because Ethereum is kind of the coin of the moment, like the major of right now. So it's on the spotlight. I don't know how to say it, but it's clearly the major where most of the volume and most of the money is at the moment. I was checking yesterday on Bybit. ETH is making slightly more volume per day than Bitcoin, and that's telling usually. Like it's not like this all the time. So those are the signs when you kind of pay attention to
absolutely right.
where your
When
focus
you see
should be.
a volume outpacing BTC, yes, absolutely. And SPR, that's a fantastic point, right? Like Trump coin being launched, like that was the PVE liquidity extraction, on Sol that we needed, and since then we've obviously seen Sol and relative Sol on chain slow down, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think that was kind of weird though because it was short lived as well. It's not like you got a lot of time to sell at 290. It
No,
was
you
almost
had
almost
next.
an overnight news driven pump, which unfortunately I am not particularly good at that. I know it's a different type of game. I have the theory, and also I can corroborate that on the practice of how I trade that. I am realistically never going to be able to catch every single piece of news and be able to humanly execute a proper trade on based on that. Even if I pay, I don't know. I always make the joke unless I'm I don't know an FBA agent or somebody who has literal information about a company or the market or the White House and whatnot. I'm not going to be an early. I can react, of course, to the news and to the tweets, but I am of the idea that by the time you get the news, it's already late. But you know where you're not late when you see the order flow of what is happening on the market. You see something suspicious happening in the market, like when you see funding going extremely high or low, or if you see a lot of volume coming in, stuff like that. I think it's going to be for the average person like me and I don't know everyone else a lot more. Advantageous to use, like in short, all the information you need is already on the chart, and all the information that tells you what happened in previous days and previous times is also already on the chart. Like you can see accumulation of volume which is significantly higher during this period of the June top. So I already know that if we happen to go higher, it's going to be quite difficult to breach this level just because of this accumulation of volume. And I know that this period was on low volume, so I can expect at least around uh, 180 or those lower targets that we were discussing before, because volume on this particular area was not so significant to the point of it's going to act as resistant now. So of course, all of this takes some time to digest and to come up and to interpret. When you learn about TA and you learn about stuff that you're probably not going to be that useful, but then you find a practical application for that, and you can sort of create your system. But coming back to the original idea, I am news trader or slash fundamental trader because I am slow, and I accept the fact that I'm a slow person when it comes to news and being aware of what happened on the market. Since just because of that fact that I have already accepted, I think I'm going to do much better by trading the chart alone. And really, honestly, I don't even watch Twitter. I watch it for the memes and stuff like that, but I try to consciously not get any type of interference on my thought process, even if I see a quote unquote bullish or bearish news.
Right,
Honestly,
and
it's difficult.
that comes
Honestly, it's
with
super difficult.
that comes with time in the market for sure. Like I think initially when I first joined the space, it's very easy to see bigger accounts, saying X, Y, and Z and wanting to follow their bias based off of what they're saying, right? And that's hard to take yourself out of that mindset where, prior to developing your own system, you're listening to what people are saying on Twitter, you're listening to the noise, you're trying to be a news trader. It's difficult. It's very difficult to get out of that mindset. But once you do, things just become a lot clearer, and you can kind of avoid the noise, which I think a lot of people need help doing, and that's what we're here for.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I tend to think uh, anyone who watching this stream has the capability and the I don't know how to what's the word, but you can get a proper system by which you play by, like the rules of your system by that you believe, and you can make good trades based on that. But of course, it's a lot easier to either try to get other people to tell you what to do, which is, I get it. I mean, honestly, I get it. Like we are in an industry with thrives on that a lot, and that's just part of what it is. It's like you can't complain about that, but you also can't complain if you purposely decide not to think on your own. I
Right,
don't know if
right.
it makes any sense, but
Oh,
there's no
absolutely.
one to blame if you willingly put your money on some stuff, thinking that other people knew better. And to be honest, that can be true at times, but also why don't you believe a little bit on yourself and think that your own decisions are also valid and that you know better? Um, I think it boils down to the time in the market. To be honest, like
Oh, exactly.
as rough as it sounds, if you do not really spend a lot of time in the market, even if you just losing money, I don't know. It's not like everyone was profitable the first month or year or 2 years and whatnot. It's like you need that time in the market to start to pick up on some patterns of behavior, like for example, when you read the news nowadays, you don't really get nervous about a potential outcome because you have already seen that. It's like the boy who cried wolf.
Right.
You already know what the possible outcome of a news is in a certain way. So you're kind of not surprised, and over time you end up being more of an objective thinker and almost a numb person to news and all that, and that's a good thing. Like in my opinion, that's honestly a really good thing to start losing the emotion for pretty much everything trade related. And
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, and
Mogul, sorry, I was reading your comment. The more you read, the more bias you get, and it would be cool if that would be useful to make trades. Like for example, you're looking for extra confluence when it comes to justifying a decision that you made, but it's not okay in the sense that you don't have to think people know better than you because they made a completely unrelated post about something that loosely resembles what you're trading at the moment, because your decisions affect your account slash portfolio. That tweet and that person probably doesn't know about your trade and your portfolio. So just by boiling things down to that basic level, I think you need to trust on your decisions. Honestly, like that's the baseline of what I'm trying to say. You have a reason to
Absolutely.
believe that way.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Not
sorry I
not
cut you off.
blind,
Yeah.
no, no, not just blindly following. Not just blindly following. But what time we got? 15. Ven, I'm gonna pop off here in a second. I'm gonna go grab some food.
That's good.
It's 2 o'clock
Yeah,
in the
same. I
afternoon.
haven't.
But
I only had
feel like
coffee today.
we covered a good bit, and let's do you want to do the same? You want to do the same next week? Do another
Yeah,
Wednesday
yeah,
stream next?
will be great. I'm trying to be on this band who is talking more arc, so to speak. I don't know. I think that I write a lot, but I also want to speak, if that makes any sense. Like I think I'm in the group all day, so I can use the time. I mean, most of you guys stream, so
Yeah,
that's why I
you're
asked
a
you to be
trooper.
here. Yeah. So
You are a
well,
trooper.
thank you.
Absolutely, Ven. Let's plan again on Wednesday. I'll shoot you a DM. We can kind of go over what we want to go over next week. And guys, if there's anything specifically that you and Vent want me to touch on next week, we're happy to do that. So just drop us a comment in general or chart ideas or whatever is easiest for you, and we'll do our best to cover that and keep moving forward.
All right, sounds good. Okay, thank you
All
everyone
right.
for coming,
Hey,
and I see you
absolutely.
around.
Yep. See you
Yeah,
guys. Thank you all for joining. Yep.
bye bye.
Peace. Peace.